Making some moves, trying to claiming the U.S. is being invaded at this point by Venezuelan gangs, and that's why they were invoking this rarely used act.
Susan, the president's move specifically targeted alleged Venezuelan gang members, but it's really all part of a broader crackdown on foreign nationals.
In a jaw-dropping move, Trump tried to resurrect a centuries-old law to fast-track deportations. Yes, you heard that right. He tried to bring back the Alien Enemies Act of 1798. Passed during John Adams's presidency, the law was designed to let the U.S. government detain or deport foreign nationals during wartime if they were deemed threats. Trump twisted that ancient clause into a modern hammer, not against enemy soldiers, but against undocumented immigrants and asylum seekers.
View this move as an attempt by the Trump administration to accelerate deportations. A federal judge this afternoon shut it down before it really ever began.
This wasn't just a policy maneuver, it was a political message. Trump, who built his brand on immigration crackdowns, saw the dusty law as a new weapon to bypass bureaucracy and fast-track deportations. But legal experts, activists, and even some conservative jurists called it reckless, authoritarian, and completely divorced from modern legal frameworks.
Jory, Michelle, it is clear the U.S. is not in a war right now. This isn't necessarily a loophole, but maybe kind of a workaround from the Trump administration.
The bonkers immigration plan. Trump's vision? Skip modern due process entirely. No hearings, no judges, no rights. Just immediate removal, all under the banner of national security. His administration justified this extreme move by claiming the immigration system was overwhelmed and that non-citizens posed imminent threats. But critics weren't buying it. Trevor Noah joked, "Trump dug up an 18th century law so old it thinks TikTok is a mint." The idea that the president could dust off an ancient statute to wield unchecked power in the 21st century sent shivers through civil rights communities. Immigration advocates warned that this could create a precedent for mass removals without oversight, a move chillingly close to authoritarian regimes. Please hit like and subscribe so we can continue making this content. Thank you. Back to Foreign Enemies Act in under 60 seconds. The Foreign Enemies Act is part of the broader Alien and Sedition Acts, passed in 1798, during intense tensions with France. It allows the U.S. president to detain or deport nationals of foreign countries with which the United States is at war. Its original intent was wartime control, a temporary tool for national survival, not a blanket immigration policy.
Making some moves, trying to claiming the U.S. is being invaded at this point by Venezuelan gangs, and that's why they were invoking this rarely used act.
And here's the constitutional catch. The U.S. isn't at war with any of the countries Trump was targeting. Not with Mexico, not with Honduras, not with El Salvador. That makes applying the act not just questionable, but potentially illegal. Enter the Supreme Court. The wall hits a wall. Just as ICE prepared for mass removals, the Supreme Court stepped in. In a stunning 7-2 ruling, the justices blocked Trump's plan, temporarily at first, to give the court time to assess its constitutionality.
It's never been used in this circumstance before. The terms of the statute require that we're at war or that there is an invasion.
And it wasn't just liberal stalwarts like Sonia Sotomayor or Elena Kagan slamming the brakes. Even Trump appointees raised eyebrows, most notably Brett Kavanaugh. Trump had once called Kavanaugh a warrior for the Constitution. But in this case, Kavanaugh played referee. He didn't vote to uphold the ban outright, nor did he support it. Instead, he criticized the court for delaying a decision and argued that the court should rule directly instead of remanding the case to lower courts. A nuanced stance, but one that made it crystal clear this wasn't the slam dunk Trump expected. Comedy Gold, Late Night Reacts. Comedy shows feasted on the absurdity. Jimmy Kimmel quipped, "Trump found a law older than Joe Biden and thought it was a good idea." Stephen Colbert mocked it as so desperate, even George Washington rolled in his grave and asked for a lawyer. Seth Meyers chimed in, "This isn't policy, it's cosplay government. What's next? The Emancipation Proclamation v. 2.0. Why this backfires big. Trump expected loyalty. What he got was a civics lesson. The court reminded the public and the president that due process is a constitutional right, not a suggestion. You can't run a modern democracy with rules built for a pre-industrial world.
Or rather, we saw the president invoke the Alien Enemies Act from the year 1798 to justify speeding up mass deportations.
Kavanaugh's procedural position didn't support the act's use. In fact, it showed a commitment to institutional integrity. The decision was a warning flare. Even Trump's Supreme Court picks won't rubber stamp extreme interpretations of executive power. This wasn't just a legal rebuke, it was a political black eye. Trump's base, which expected swift action, got legal limbo.
But within 2 hours of this announcement this afternoon, a federal judge blocked it with a temporary restraining order.
The fallout: flights grounded, base divided. Immigration agencies that had already set logistics in motion for deportations were forced to stand down. Planes were rerouted, courtrooms jammed, protesters flooded airports once again. Among Trump loyalists, confusion turned to rage. Far-right media personalities questioned Kavanaugh's allegiance. Conspiracy theorists spun tales of deep state infiltration. But legal experts praised the decision. The ACLU celebrated it as a victory for constitutional order. Immigrant rights groups called it a breathing space. For thousands of people awaiting removal, it was a moment of hope.
Susan, the president's move specifically targeted alleged Venezuelan gang members, but it's really all part of a broader crackdown on foreign nationals.
Trump responds: sound, fury, and social media. The former president wasted no time in retaliating. On Truth Social, he blasted the ruling as cowardly and accused the court of weakening American sovereignty. In a fiery rally in Ohio, Trump thundered, "When I return, we won't ask permission to protect our country. We'll do what needs to be done." The crowd roared, but behind the scenes, aides were scrambling to manage the fallout. What's next? The Supreme Court's ruling isn't the end. It's the beginning of a longer judicial saga. The case returns to lower courts, where it will be scrutinized over months or even years. Appeals will follow. Meanwhile, the deportation initiative is indefinitely paused. In political terms, the issue isn't going away. Trump will campaign on it, framing the court's block as proof of Washington corruption. His base, already distrustful of institutions, will be fed a steady diet of grievance politics. But the legal takeaway is clear. Even with a conservative-leaning court, constitutional law still matters. Beyond immigration, the larger stakes. This case isn't just about immigration. It's about executive authority. Can a president, using a vague and archaic law, strip people of rights in the name of security? The court's answer, even temporarily, was a clear no.
So this temporary restraining order issued by the judge just minutes ago puts those deportations on hold just for 14 days. ICE will keep those non-citizens in custody.
And in a time when presidents from both parties have tested the limits of executive orders, that answer matters. The Alien Enemies Act may remain on the books, but its future as a governing tool is now very much in doubt. Final thoughts. The cracks in the image. Trump built his persona on power, on getting things done. But this ruling, especially the dissent from Kavanaugh, exposed a crack in that image. Presidents can nominate judges, they can make deals, but they can't force loyalty.
Even before the Trump administration announced it would invoke the Alien Enemies Act of 1798, there were signs this was coming, and there were questions about the legality.
The Constitution is bigger than any one administration. Trump wanted speed, loyalty, and obedience. What he got was process, limits, and a reminder that the law still has a voice. Bottom line, Trump tried to run immigration with a colonial-era law. The court said, not so fast. Please like and subscribe for more videos that break these events down.